everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager. So, apologies have to be sent to those of you who were expecting to see some more Medieval 2 stainless steel. But at the back end of last week and this weekend I've been rather busy, so I've not been able to upload anything, which is I do apologise for. And it's now a new week, and instead of dragging things out, I decided to commence Motorsport Manager Week. Now, we have only 4 races to go, and I intend to finish Motorsport Manager Week when I finish this current season. So if this doesn't take an entire week, what I'll do at the back end of this week is I will continue on with stainless steel until next week, and we'll go back over to Pillars of Eternity. So there'll be some more stainless steel coming relatively soon to make up for the lack of uploads this weekend. Because I kind of left on a cliffhanger, didn't I? So I didn't want to end stainless steel for 2 or 3 weeks at that point. So yeah. Right. So we are currently here now with some Motorsport Manager. And last time we left off, we had a very good result, owing to the fact that there was a patch out, and as part of that patch, unbeknownst to me at the time, is there is a new difficulty slider in relation to the game difficulty, which automatically set itself, upon implementation, to the easiest setting, which is why we almost got a podium finish. So, what I've done is I have put the slider to normal. You can go up to 10, which is hard, down to -10, which is easy, or you can go to the middle, which is normal. And I'm a normal kind of guy when it comes to difficulty levels, unless it's too easy, in which case I do turn the difficulty up. But I don't know how this is going to affect things, so I'm going to put it on normal and see what happens. Realistic is still on for the race strategy, so these two settings combined should give us a nice balanced difficulty, I think. So that's that. Now we are exactly as we were as we left off last time, so there is some stuff to do before the next race. We'll kind of blast through that. But I thought I'd show you what I was doing, just to catch up really, and also to get my head around things, because it's been a little while. So we have sponsors available for slot 5, which we will look at once we have all 3 available. Our car is capable of being improved, but as I've stated in episodes in the past, we are focusing on improving the performance of our engines for next season and our gearboxes. And what we will do is we will increase the reliability as much as we can, considering you have no staff allocated, to the parts that matter in the next race. So we've got acceleration, deceleration, and low speed corners, so that's braking, and what's that? Gearbox. So braking and gearbox. So we're already improving the gearbox reliability, so we will go for that. And the other 2 is currently set to suspension, which we'll take that off that, and we'll put that onto the brakes, which is already full, funnily enough, so we won't bother doing that. We'll put it onto the front wing instead. Okay. It's not going to increase a great deal, but I suppose every little helps. In terms of our new part, designing new parts, we are currently waiting for our rear wing to be constructed. That's only going to take another 5 days, and then we shall work on another one. So that's something to look forward to. Right. Okay, so here we go. There is news to be had. Rear wing finished. And as you can see, our new rear wing has taken us a little bit higher up the ranking in terms of the green, well, the yellow bar here, which is a good sign because we still have more work to do on it, which is marvellous. If we can get that to be above the average line, I'm thinking we're going to be looking relatively good for next season. Of course, the best suspension in the business we currently have. We're not using it at the moment, but we do have the best suspension in the business right now. Our engine and our gearbox is still improving. So these are going to be roughly, by the time the season's finished, in line with the average on the grid. This is going to be in line or just above the average on the grid, which is going to be good, which means that next season our priority will be to improve our weakest parts in preparation for our third season push. See how close we get with that. And of course we can design our chassis with the new patches in mind in terms of what we need to focus on. Is it tyre wear? Is it fuel efficiency? Ooh, today may dictate. Right, to quote a sim. Okay, so we are looking for the best current performance that we can possibly muster. So that would be 1142. That's just max, that's no good to us. So 1142, we're looking for a 1167, 1162. Okay, so that'll be that. And then followed by, nope, 1207. It's got to be that one. Takes from max but gives us plus 40 to actual high speed cornering, so that's, yeah, that's pretty useful. So that will take us to a performance level of 1207 current performance, which we can take forward to next season, of course. Yeah, 12 days. It will be ready. Marvellous. It's going to cost us 900 grand. Not a problem. Although that money, that figure is getting lower and lower as season progresses. It might soon be a problem. Okay, so 1207, what's the current rear wing that we've just designed? 1167, so 1207, an extra 40 on top of that. Should be nice. Yeah, I'm thinking the next two great parts that we build for the rear wing, as I said before, I think they're going to push us up pretty decent. Sponsorships. Let's have a look at the sponsorships here. We need upfront money. We're not going to get 6th or above, 5th or above, or 3rd or above. Very rarely, I think. So it's just about the upfront money. And the upfront money, so 750 grand could be pretty useful. 6th or above? Nah, it's a bit too high. But this will kind of creep over into next season, these 7 races. It will creep over for the first 3 races of next season. So we've got to think, could we get perhaps 6th or above in the first couple of races of next season, when reliability of the other cars are an issue, when we will have our chassis ready, when we will have perhaps use of our really good suspension, our pretty decent gearbox, engine and rear wing. Could we push for 6th or above at the early days of next season? I think it might not be unrealistic, you know. It'll still be tough, but I don't think it's unrealistic. I'm thinking perhaps we go for this one. It's the same upfront money, so it's nothing lost. But I think if we can select 6th or above as a sponsorship deal at the start of next season as a potential, this might be worth some extra hundreds of thousands of pounds in bonus payments. I think we're going to risk it. Yeah. So we get a bit of money now, and potentially next season we might be able to utilise that sponsor to try and get 6th place or above, depending on if my assessment of the performance of our car is accurate, which is probably not going to be. I'm being far too optimistic, but it's better to be optimistic, I suppose. Have high hopes, then aim low and miss. Aim high and hit. Well, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? It's better to aim high and miss than to aim low and hit. There you go. So there's nothing else for us to worry about. In this pit crew nonsense here, I'm still a little bit confused as to how it works, but we currently have the best pit crew in the business. But what I do notice is that the stamina of these guys does seem to decrease as time progresses. So how on earth do we get this to recover? Do we need to put the crew into recovery? In which case replace them with some spare pit crew. Keep rotating them. If that is the case, we're going to need some more to rotate, because we've only got 2 at the moment. So I need to keep an eye on that. Not quite so sure. Team Championship target update. We're doing better than our 8th prediction. We're doing pretty well, I would say so. Medium speed corners. Somebody be complaining, oh, we're not good in medium speed corners. No, we're not, because it's our first season. Give us a chance. You know, we're doing well. We're progressing. We've got the 2nd worst car on the grid, yet we've got a fair few points this season. You know, baby steps. Oh, okay. I take it back. Sundin is complimenting us for our medium speed cornering. Our suspension is the best in the business. Of course it is. What am I saying? Spec gearbox is on the agenda. I don't think so. Not after we've spent all this season developing a gearbox for next season. Was that gearbox or spec engines? Spec gearboxes. Yeah, we're certainly not going to have this pass through. We have spent a lot of money and time investing on improving our gearbox for next season. We do not want to see spec gearboxes come into play. That is for certain. So we'll be utilising our political voting power to make sure this does not happen. Right, here we are. Now this is going to be an interesting race. A, because I want to see what this difficulty level kind of pitches us at. And also, I want to confirm or not whether or not the tyre wear situation has been reined in a bit. I'm still not so sure. And there is a question of whether our tyre wear in the last race, which seemed to be quite favourable, if that was a result of the rather easy difficulty we put the game on. Or, well, the game defaulted to, rather. So we'll keep an eye on the tyre wear. It is down as high, and we do have soft, super soft, soft and medium, which is kind of fitting to the tyre wear situation. If the tyre wear is bad, like it was before the last patch, then we're going to struggle on the super softs to get a decent, you know, couple of stints out of them. If the tyre wear is still favourable, like the last race, then we should be able to actually use the super softs for all of the stints with a high tyre wear, I would have thought. 23 laps, 13th or above. So I'm going to pitch it as if I don't really know, but I will go 654, so something like that. Or should I take a risk and give us an extra set of super softs? I think we're going to take a risk. We're going to risk it that we can actually do some decent super soft stints and that the tyre wear situation is favourable. Could be a terrible mistake, but we're gonna push it. Right, as per usual, I will see you potentially for qualifying if there's rain predicted. If not, I'll see you in the race. Practice is over once again. We had a bit of a mixed bag because it was raining and then it was dry and it was raining again. It was just all about getting the setups as best we could, and also maximising our performance bonuses for the weekend. So let's take a look at how we did, and also, more importantly, take a look at what we're going to expect in qualifying. And we were expecting a cloudy day, but apparently the weather report was wrong. We have rain, and that means that we usually would take the qualifying session when there is variable weather. So we will take the qualifying session and we won't leave it to simulation. So we're going to be qualifying today. Right, now this is the quandary we face. The quandary we face is we know the track's going to get dry after coming up to the 6 minutes remaining mark, but we can't see whether or not it will remain dry or whether the rain will come again. So we don't know if the track will be dry for any great length of time. So using the dry tyre, super soft option is a bit of a risk. The safer option would be to use the intermediate tyre at 5%, which isn't a massive amount. Now for Sundin it's not a problem because super overtake mode will probably trump 5% tyre, and she just goes for qualifying trim, which is a generic performance across the whole of qualifying, so she's fine. I think it's more of a problem for Surikov, because we're going to go for qualifying trim, but the second question is, do we go for intermediate tyres, or do we risk it and go for super soft? Now I'm thinking a 5% performance bonus isn't really a massive amount, and I'm going to chance that we're going to get at least one dry run in, and we're going to go for the super soft tyre option, 15%. A bit of a slight gamble, but it's a much better performance boost if it does indeed stay dry for at least 3 minutes, allowing us to get one hot lap in on the super softs. In relation to the tyre wear situation, we can get about 5 to 7 laps with Sundin. That's 6 to 8 for Surikov. It's a 23 lap race split into 3 stints, which means we're going to be looking at roughly 8 lap stints to get 2 stops in. Sorry. So the super softs are going to be a bit of a push for Sundin. We're probably going to have to go for at least one soft stint, maybe do 9 laps if we can, and then see if we can eke out a 2 super softs. Surikov has got it a little bit easier, but this is going to be the test of as to whether or not the tyre wear situation is improved. Because if not, Sundin is going to struggle to get even just a single super soft stint in, and she might have to resort to 3 soft stints. But we'll see. But that is for the race, of course. For now, we focus on qualifying. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to stay in the pits until we can see what happens after the 6-minute mark. The cars are weight stripped. Let's crack on with qualifying. And this lovely times 12 speed really does help with times like this, and in practice as well, to really blast through when you just want to get things done. Yeah, it's staying dry. It's staying dry until about 3 minutes to go, so we can't stay in the pits until the very end. So what we'll do is wait for the track to get completely dry, and then we'll go out, and that's going to be a one chance only affair. Unless we can time it so that we get out of the pits right on the 6-minute mark. Then we might be able to get a couple of stints in. I think we're going to put the pressure on the drivers here, folks, and say it's a one stint only chance. Don't blow it. One stint only, guys. It's all you're gonna get, so make sure it counts. Right, I think if we time it so that we try and get clear of traffic, I think that's going to be a good strategy. If we go out now, we still might get 2. I'm gonna go out now. When all these cars have passed us, of course. Someone's coming out now. So if we go out with Sundin, we'll go out with Sundin, who's got a 7.7 current form rating, which again, she's in good form. She was in good form the last weekend. We're going to go, of course, on a set of super softs. Okay, off she goes with her super overtake mode, of course. Surikov will have to wait a little bit for these cars to all pass, so it's going to be less likely that he gets 2 stints, but not impossible. Send him out, and off we go. So we'll follow Surikov today. We always tend to follow Sundin on the qualifying runs, I've noticed, so we'll give Surikov a bit of airtime. Optimization is on, of course, and off we go around Singapore. This was the first race of the Asia Pacific Cup. This was the first race of the season. Every time, I say every time, we were only in it for one season, but it was the first race. Now it's at the back end, and it always tends to be rain. And look at that, Sundin getting a perfect setup for her hot lap which she is now just about crossing the line, and it looks like she may be approaching traffic, but we'll stick with Surikov for now, as his optimization doesn't go anywhere near as good, overheating the brakes. Tyre temperatures are good though. He's on his hot lap. We'll keep an eye on Sundin's split times as well as we go round with Surikov, who is in acres of space. Time to perfection there by the Potter and crew, as Sundin is actually 3/10 up on the first sector. Surikov only 2/10 up, but these times were all set on a wet track. They're all coming out for their dry runs now, so that is bound to change. But for the time being, Sundin is just 0.02 of a second slower, and look at that, 1/100th of a second slower. Surikov is 2/10 down. Here he goes. He crosses the line. He's in 4th. And he's dropping as cars do their dry time. So this is the only dry run we're going to get. It was a one and done affair. We've done it once. And the rain is now coming. The rain is now coming, which means that if anybody doesn't get cracking with their hot laps, and there's only 2 people out on a hot lap right now, qualifying for us is going to be looking rather spiffing once again. I can't see anybody on a hot lap at this moment in time. We've got people on in laps, a load of people in the pits, and now they're going out when the track is going to be, well, far from ideal. So I've got a feeling that we are going to be qualifying 3rd and 7th. If not 7th, maybe 8th at a push. But another good qualifying from Phoenix Knights Racing. Another good strategy call. And once again, we are punching well above our weight. Sundin, of course, 3/10 faster than Surikov. We can only put that down to her magic overtake button. Surikov tends to come back strong in the race though, so fear not, Surikov fans. He's not out of it yet. Right, qualifying is finished. We have finished 3rd and 7th. I think we can be happy with that. I think we can also be happy with the fact that look who's on pole! Risato Corsa! They're below us in the constructors. Van Dort Racing, Velen Racing, Thornton Motorsport. These are all the weaker cars. The stronger cars. Your Steinmans, your Windsors, your Scuderia Rossinis, your Panthers. What on earth are they doing? Are their strategies so cocky that their cars are so good that they don't have to adhere to the weather forecast? Who knows? But all the best cars are at the back. All the weaker cars are at the front. This is going to make for a rather interesting race, one feels. But anyway, we've got our bonus and we look forward to the race. It's kind of galling, really, that the fact that we are not on pole and we're getting out-qualified by teams that are a team that is below us in the ranking. If we got out-qualified by Steinman or whatever, it's fine, but we're in 3rd and the 2 cars above us are, well, technically speaking in the constructors, a weaker team. Interesting. Right. Race trim. Let's just check the weather forecast for the race. It's going to be a variable weather condition race, which is really looking good for us. I like a bit of variable weather. It's worked for us in qualifying. Doesn't tend to work for us very well in the race, or at least so far this season. But can we get it to work for us today? Now, lap 6 / maybe lap 7 at a push, the rain's going to come. We need to get at least 6 laps in our first stint. And that's going to be on the soft tyre, I think, for Sundin. She can't stretch to 6 laps on the... You see, this is where the tyre wear situation comes into effect. If it is as it used to be, she can probably get 6 laps out of these super softs. 5 at a is stretch. 5 is if you really push the tyres hard. 7 is if you're a little bit conservative. Can we get 6 laps, which is in the middle? I suggest possibly, but I don't want to risk it. Because if she has to come in at lap 5, or even worse, lap 4, it's going to completely ruin her race because she's going to have to come in for inters in just a couple of laps after that. So we're going to have to play it conservative. But we will, of course, keep an eye on the tyre wear as the race progresses. 7 to 9 laps, so this should even be comfortable if the tyre wear is harsh. So she's going on the soft tyres for the first stint and then switching to the inters round about lap 7. We'll put 7 laps of fuel in, 8 laps of fuel, so that she can do 7 if she needs to. And we'll play it by ear at that. So we're going for a conservative option with the fuel and with the tyres to ensure that we have enough play if we need to tweak things. So that means that in terms of her strategy, in terms of her knowledge, she's not going to be using the super soft that we can tell. So we're going to go with race trim. Should we use super overtake in the race? Our reliability has obviously been lowered for the weight stripping. Intermediate tyre boost of 5% doesn't really appeal. Super soft tyres doesn't appeal. So therefore, we're not going to be using medium tyres. So all of these are pretty useless, really. I think giving her the option of super overtake mode, if she needs it in the race, could be a good option. You know, give her a real big boost when the chips are down and she needs to maybe perform some kind of an undercut or something. Not to be used all the time, but to be used at a time of need. Yeah, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for super overtake mode for Sundin in the race for a change. We look to Surikov, who can make the soft tyres last between 6 and 8 laps. Again, this is a bit less of a risk, but it's still a risk because potentially he may have to come in on lap 6, but that's not a tragedy. Not as bad as coming on lap 5. So I think we're going to go for the super softs for Surikov. I think he can make those last until the rain comes. And we'll go for, again, 8 laps of fuel just to give us options to extend if required. So that's him sorted. In terms of his strategy, he is using the super softs for the first stint and race trim. Right, tyre wear. We'll go for push for the first lap, get some heat into them, and then we're going to have to we're going to put her onto. We don't need to use super overtake. We're at the front of the grid, so we'll just go for overtake mode to start with, and then we'll turn it down. Fuel is not a problem. We are a little bit over fueled to give us some flexibility. So, yeah. This is going to be an interesting race. This is going to be, look at that form, potentially form of 10 and 8, and she's potentially form of around about 7. Surikov not looking in great form, but that's of course qualifying. Things can change in the race, and as we've seen, that the big wigs are all right down 11th and below. It literally is. All of the best cars are all at the back. Every single one of them. Windsor, Steinman, Gitano. What a strange qualifying. So here we are at the Singapore Grand Prix. 5 lights. We're off and racing, and it's a good start for Sundin and a better start for Surikov, who is absolutely flying at this moment in time, but couldn't quite get past. And ooh, it's a bit of a bunch here as so Sundin is up into second. She's toying with first. She is the only car on the soft tyre rather than the super soft. Could that be a mistake? Maybe, but perhaps we can offset her lack of tyre pace with the use of super overtake. We'll see how things pan out, but look at that. We are up to second and third at the end of the first lap. Things aren't look at Hulko's flying through the pack. It says Steinman. Look at that. We can see him coming, hunting us down like a shark that smells blood. It's gonna be a tough one. Right. So we need to just settle into a rhythm here. The tyre temperatures, it's 26 degrees. The track temperatures is relatively high, not massively, but it's going to warrant us just looking after the tyre temperature slightly, as Becker is absolutely on a charge. He is flying through that grid. He's already past Surikov. He's up into third. Sundin is next on his hit list. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. We will just keep an eye on things here as we cross the line at the end of the second lap. We'll keep an eye on the And the fuel loads, we're going to turn things down now to high for both our cars. The other drivers are still pushing their engines quite hard. We're going to turn the tyre wear down now as well. So we'll go for high engine and normal tyre for the time being. As Sundin is not letting Becker past. She's defending that position, doing relatively well, it must be said. It's only a matter of time, but she's doing a damn good job. Keep it up, Sundin. Thundering Sundin is thundering today. Look at her. Look, she's defending well. She is defending very well, and that's allowing Surikov to get to the back of him. He's in a bit of a Phoenix Knight sandwich at the moment, but he's finally passed. He's finally passed. It was a good battle while it lasted. And we've got two Scuderia Rossinis coming through, we can see there. As Surikov is now looking to get past Sundin. Surikov is hunting. Right, we're just looking at the tyre wear situation, so we're going to pause it. These are all new stuff that needs looking into here. We can see with Surikov that he's got 50% tyre life. His tyre wear has gone right through the roof here. We won't turn it down any lower than normal, I don't think. 51% after 3 laps. I think that means that he's probably going to be able to do 6 laps, which was that predicted, 6 to 8. So it's the lower end of the scale. She's 57. She's going to be roughly able to do 6 laps, 7 laps. I think the tyre wear situation is a little bit better than it was, but it's still quite harsh, it seems, today. We'll continue on for now. Don't think the tyre temperature is going to help things either. We need to last out until round about lap 6 at the very, very early. He needs to turn this down. His tyre wear is looking pretty ropey. It really is. Hers is 48. A lot of the other cars' tyre wear is in the same position as ours, though, so it's not as if we're suffering worse. A lot of these other guys on super softs, some of them are. D'Oster, for instance, he's struggling. I think we're going to go into conserve. We're going to turn down now the engines to normal. As Sundin is beginning to go backwards a little bit. Surikov's in 6th, Sundin is in 4th. That's fine for now. Coming round to start lap 6. And yeah, he's got like 1 lap of tyre life left. So he's literally going to do 6 laps, which was the lower end of the scale. She can probably eke out 1 lap after this, which will give her 7 laps. And again, that's the lower end of the scale. Hers was 7 to 9. His was 6 to 8. We're doing the lower end of the scale. The question is then, as she's got enough fuel to get around 2 more laps, I think. Everybody's coming in. Look, everyone's coming into the stop now. I think we need to do 1 more lap with both cars. Surikov is going to be much more of a risk because his tyres are absolutely knackered now. But I think going round on knackered super softs is better than going round on a set of inters a lap too soon. Because the rain ain't coming yet, and we're coming round to the finish line now, so I think we need to do 1 more lap. Sundin is fine. Her tyre wear is just about right. It's actually Surikov, and we're going to have to stack them as well, which should have been taken into consideration. It's probably better to have brought Surikov in now then, because we're going to have to stack him behind Sundin. Damn and blastation. It would have been better to bring him in now. His tyres are shot. Right, okay. Well, we're going to use her super overtake mode, and we're going to push the... Well, we'll go and push for her tyre life. He can't really push the tyres, so take him on overtake. We're going to pit Sundin. We're going to take her onto the intermediates. Now, the intermediates can do 7 to 9, which means they will do 7, judging by the tyre wear situation. That will take us to lap 13, which is not quite as far as we want to go with these tyres. We want to take them right up until around about lap 15. And then go into dries to finish the race. So we need to extend this intermediate stint as long as possible for potentially 9 laps. So we're going to go and conserve the tyres as much as we can here. So we're going to go with 10 laps of fuel. The parts are looking fine. So yeah. Alright, so we're going to have to really eke out this stint here. Just be careful of her fuel with the super overtake. And we'll go with Sirikov. He has to go... He can probably stretch it far better than Sundin can with his better smoothness. But of course he's going to be stacking behind Sundin, which is not going to be ideal for his race. There's about a 2-second gap. We probably need about a 7-second gap to stack him without waiting. So this is just not going to happen at all. Unless Sundin puts her foot down massively on super overtake mode and really stretches another second or two ahead, which is looking less likely. But look at that, she's ahead of Holtz, and Holtz is struggling at this moment in time, so we're looking really good. Can she make it to the end on super overtake? I think she can. The rain is now coming. This is the perfect time to pit, theoretically speaking. Her fuel is just running out as she's approaching the pits, which is perfectly fine. Everybody coming in now. So here we go. No mistakes, no mistakes, no mistakes. Get her out, get her out. Okay, we're stacking. Animus, no! A mistake by Callum Pels on the refueling has completely and utterly blundered both Sundin's answer. Why is it every time we flipping stack the cars, this happens? Every time we stack the cars, there's an error in the pit stop, just to compound the fact that we stacked. Sirikov is down in 19th as a result of that mistake. And that is actually 19th position. That is his proper position. Everybody has stopped. He has got a massive, massive amount of work to do. Now, I agree, I take some of the blame there because we should not have stacked him. We should have brought him in a lap earlier. Should have brought him in a lap earlier. Realised it too late. But this is our chance to try and maybe make this work by extending this stint, conserving the tyres, going right until the very last second, which would be lap 15, before switching to the dries. I don't think it's really going to help Sirikov that much. He's going to have to storm through the field in a car that's not really made for storming. It's going to be difficult for him to do anything here. We're giving him extra juice for the engine, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough because we're having to conserve the tyres. As he crosses the line, he'll have 8 laps of fuel, which we only need another 6 maximum, so he can really burn through the... He can actually burn through... Sundin can also burn through her fuel as well. The question is it going to remain dry from lap 17 to lap 23? I certainly hope so, because this would really help us out. If it's going to remain, if it's going to stay dry and then go back to wet again straight away, then it doesn't matter about stretching this stint because we're just going to change to inters again. But it's looking like it is going to remain dry for the rest of the race, so we're definitely trying to stretch this out is going to be beneficial. Dorster is already pitting for another set of inters, and he'll have to pit again. So this could help. This could help us. Sirikov's form is down to 3.2. It's not his fault. You know, whatever's happened here today is definitely not his fault. He shouldn't be disheartened here. He needs to rise to the challenge and really make things work. Right, we're going to give him some neutral tyres here to get some heat into them. They're just temperatures dropping slightly as we switch now to Sundin, who is cruising around in 10th position, keeping pace with the Scuderia Rossini. We still have a few odd cars ahead of us. Flores and De Wolf a little bit higher than perhaps they would normally be, so there's still opportunities for Sundin to move forward in this race. It's not all about defending and preventing ourselves from getting out of the points. There are still a couple of places to be made here, I think. If we can continue We have got the opportunity to give us some super overtake if we need it. Somebody's coming into the pits already. I think this again is too early. Okay, so let's just take a... Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a... Pardon the pun. We're going to take a rain check here. We're just going to assess the situation with Sundin. Sundin is the lead driver today. She is the one that's managed to get ahead here. So the rain is going to stick until round about lap 16, which is another 3 laps to do. She's got plenty of tyre wear, life. She's got 5 laps of fuel, and she has to do another say another 3 at least. So yeah, I think we can afford. So look at the car condition. Don't think we can go too crazy. I think one more lap on push, and then at the last 2 laps of the stint, we're going to give her a blasting and super overtake. I think that's probably just about right for her. For Surikov, he's got more tyre life available, so we're going to give him a push, and we'll keep him on the push for the engine as well. So here we go, Sundin on high. In fact, I think we'd be better off doing a bit of... I don't even think we need super overtake. I don't think we're going to really pass the Rossini. We don't really need to defend against the Lundqvist at the moment, who's not really making any inroads. We're gaining on these guys. Okay, so this is an interesting race. I did think it was going to be one. Well, of course, we have suffered. De Wolf is coming back to us here. We did say that passing De Wolf is a possibility for Sundin, and it's turning out that that is the case. The rain is beginning to slow now. Just needs to continue to eke out the tyre life here. Still continue to push the engine. We're up into 8th. Cars have come in. They're coming in for... intermediate. Oh no, they are coming on to dries. It is a little bit too soon for the dry tyre. So her tyre wear's getting pretty bad. Oh dear. Perhaps we should have gone a bit more. I mean, the tyre temperatures are so... we're struggling with them. He's fine on push there. Just bear with me, folks. Right, I'm back again. Sorry about that. Right, okay. So Sundin, I think Sundin's going to have to come in to the pits this lap. I think perhaps both cars having to come in on this lap. It's a lap earlier than I would have hoped, but the track is beginning to dry. So. And there's going to be... how many laps after this? 9 laps. She's going to have to go on a set of mediums to finish the race. And even they're going to be... even that's going to be a push. Yeah. I think tyre wear was kind to us in the last race because we had it on easy. Which wasn't, of course, our fault, but I think it just perhaps scale with the difficulty maybe. Or maybe it's track specific. This is down as a high tyre wear track, of course. So anyway, she's coming in. The fueling is done. The tyre is on medium for her. So that is Sundin, and she's coming in now. So we're going to give her the super overtake to burn that fuel off, and we might as well give her the full, give her a push on the tyres as well. Surikov. He can't do one lap either. He is going to have to come in too. He has to do the same amount of laps, which will be 9 laps. We're going to eke out the soft tyres with him. Eke out the softs. Literally, it's going to be touch and go. Parts are fine. Sundin, off she goes, look, she's flying, the thunder in Sundin, she's flying, she's in the points at the moment, she's coming in for her stop, she's going on to the medium tyres, which isn't ideal, but it's the only tyres that will get her to the end of this race at this moment in time. She comes in, any mistakes, and I shall be having heads on pikes. No, typical. Look at that. No stacking. No mistake. Although technically speaking, there was stacking there, I saw. He just managed to get in. And another mistake. Thank you, Steve Hassett. You're a superstar. Absolute superstar. Thank you for that. You utter tool. Right. So that is it. Everybody has changed their tyres apart from De Graaf, Syracuse and Chapman. I think De Graaf we may be able to have. But we've got cars behind us and we're on a slow tyre. Sundin is going to struggle to bring this into the points, I think. It's touch and go. It's touch and go for Sundin here. But there are cars pitting. There are cars in the pits. We are making up a place or two. 9th, 10th. And 11th has just exited the pits. The Graaf is on medium tyres. So it's perhaps not all lost. Excess fuel. Surikov has fought his way up to 14th. I mean, he's doing a damn good job here. As soon as I say that, he gets passed by Wexler, who is not having a very good race for Scuderia Racing here today. Down in 14th. A race weekend to forget for him. But we have Gonzalez absolutely flying here. Absolutely flying. Yes. It's looking a little bit grim for Surikov, it must be said. Okay, well, we'll go to pastures slightly more prosperous, although we do have De Graaf gaining on us pretty rapidly. Although he is pushing his tyres very hard, but conserving the engine. We can't really afford to push our tyres very hard at this moment in time. So we'll just continue on as we are. He's going to have to turn his pushing down, although he doesn't technically, because his tyre wear is not bad, but the temperatures may overheat for him if he continues to push that hard. So he's now turned it. He's turned his engine up. He's gaining pretty quickly. We have to defend this position. So we're going to give her... we won't give her super overtake, but we'll give her some overtake. We'll give her some overtake. He's getting rather close here. Getting rather close. She's going to have to do some defensive driving to get the points here today. She is going to have to really drive her heart out to get the points here today. We've got the higher engine mode. We're both on normal. We've still got excess fuel. Still got excess fuel. He's got problems with his wing. 27%. Just keep driving, son. Just keep driving. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to worry about. Just keep going. You're in 16th. If your wing falls off, there's not much lost, is there? But meanwhile, Sundin is hanging on. People have turned down their tyres. We'll go to conserve. We won't go to backup like a lot of these other cars have, but we'll go just to conserve. We'll go for medium tyre, medium engine for a lap, and then we're going to go for super overtake for the conclusion. We'll go for a super overtake finish. We'll just conserve a little bit of fuel now, conserve a bit of tyre life now, and we're going to give her the full beans for the last couple of laps. So just nicely time it up, Sundin. Just nicely time it up. So even as it is, there's just no point, is there? Right, here we go. So there's 2 laps to go. Actually, we've only got 2 laps of fuel. So perhaps we can't go all guns blazing. We'll go to high, back up to neutral. This is going to be tight. This is going to be a tight finish. Will Sundin cling on to the last points scoring position? The cars ahead of us haven't really pulled away at any great rate of knots, must be said. Perhaps De Wolf on his tyres are holding up Sylvander, but his tyres are looking pretty grim. Can we put the pressure on the final lap? Let's see if we can. We're still going to have enough fuel to go to overtake. We're going to push the tyres now for the final lap. Push the tyres hard as we can. We're going to give him full overtake mode for the last lap as well. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Look at that. He's really holding Sylvander up. Sylvander struggling to pass the ailing De Wolf, whose tyres are about to give up on life. As we're just going to turn down the tyres for Sundin. She's got low fuel coming round. Oh no, we're going to have to conserve fuel. Conserve fuel. Don't want it to bring out of fuel at the line here. Oh, she has literally finished the line with no tyres left and no fuel left. Time to perfection, you could argue. She's managed to cling on to 10th position. Almost got De Wolf. Almost got De Wolf there. But a very controlled race from Sundin. And to be fair, she had to utilise the slower tyres. Her first stint was on the set of softs, while everyone else was on the super softs. And her final stint was on the medium, and everyone else was on the soft. That begs a question. If we did not have the issues that we did with Surikov, where would he have finished? Because he was able to use the softer compound. As you can see from the graphic here, he used the super soft and then the soft, which is obviously the more optimal strategy. Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Anyway, we got some points. We got a point, which is a success, must be said. Anytime we finish in the points, it's got to go down as a success, considering the performance of our car. Look at that. Surikov 44, Sundin 25. 3 races to go, and we are still comfortably in 6th position, and where we expect to finish at the end of the season. Well, that's going to look at that. That's going to really hinder him going forward into the next race. He's going to have to bounce back here as Surikov. He's had an up and down season. To say he's been burgled and all that kind of stuff. He came into the new team, was feeling blue. He took a while to settle in. Despite all that, he's still got almost twice as many points as Sundin. So if he ever gets to top form, it'll be a frightening proposition, won't it? Meanwhile, Sundin, as is usually the case with Sundin, she's a very consistent performer, performing at the top of her game regularly and eking out every last performance out of the car that she possibly can. She's a credit to the team. Let's hope that she stays on for at least one more season. Okay, so there we go. That is the end of the race, and the rear wing is built. Whoopity-doo! Let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at the car. Where does that put us? It puts us, as I suspected, just above the average performance marker. So we still have, don't forget, one more rear wing to build. So let's get it done. Nope, that's the wrong part. We'll do it now. So it was that one. And that one, and that one. And that's as good as we can get it, is it? No? Oh, we can go for 1227, it looks like. Yeah. So the best we can get is 1227, which is 20 performance points higher than our current best, which is 1207 if I remember rightly. So that will give us 2 pretty decent rear wings to use next season, so that both cars can have it. So I think we'll do that, give both cars similar performance parts. And this is probably going to be the final part that we build. We have not built any brakes or any front wings this season, but what we'll do, as I said, is next season we'll focus more on these parts to bring them in line. But all the other parts are looking relatively decent, either average or damn good. So we'll finish off the session, get ourselves ready for the next one. We'll fly through all this rubbish. We don't do interviews. The pit stop report. They weren't dangerous. Yeah, they weren't I don't care if people lose fingers, love. What I care about is the fact that these mistakes hindered both of our cars. Get them into shape. Get that whip out and give it a good cracking. Damn fools. Best in the business, you told me. What a load of baloney. Pit crew, we got one message. Oh, we can hire. Yes! Who made a mistake? Look at this guy, Pels. He wants to rest. Who was it? Hassett, you made a mistake in one of them. I'm sure it was your name that cropped up. I'm going to be baying for blood, says Potter. Nobody's safe. Anyway, join me in the next session where we were going to Sydney, where it's predicted once again for rain. What's with all the rain all of a sudden? And the tyre wear situation is high, but there's only 16 laps, so I've got a feeling that this could be a good race for us. So join me next time to see if it is. Until then, see you soon.